Good morning, and welcome to InTouch, a public affairs show dedicated to improving the lives of Susquehanna Valley residents. I'm Freddie Hammer, News Director at Backyard Broadcasting. This week on InTouch, we'll get a little glimpse into what the boys of summer do during the winter. We're looking forward to some great baseball fun with the Williamsport Crosscutters, a Class A short season affiliate of the Phillies this June when the season starts. But in the meantime, we have an event for you to attend in January that will satisfy the major league itch you might be feeling. With us today is Gabe Sinocropi, the Vice President of Marketing and Public Relations for the Williamsport Crosscutters. Hey, Gabe, good to see you.
Freddie, how are you?
It's so nice to see you again. We got a chance to speak last spring, of course, when you were in full swing, so to speak.
Yep, no pun intended.
Exactly. But the Crosscutters do a lot of things over the winter time, too, getting ready.
Absolutely. You know, lots of things happening all year long. And one of our favorite events of the year is coming up on January 15th, our annual Hot Stove Banquet.
Now, that's the first question I have. Why do you call it a Hot Stove Banquet?
You know, a lot of people ask that question, especially people who aren't, deep into baseball.
Right.
But traditionally, the winter months are called the hot stove months in baseball. Back in the day, guys would get around a hot stove in the cold winter and talk about baseball.
Okay.
And so the off season, especially the dead of winter, is called the hot stove season.
It brings back thoughts of maybe the 30s or in the 40s,
right,
when
exactly.
baseball was such a heyday.
Yeah. So that's why it's called the Hot Stove Banquet, our winter banquet. And we always have a lot of fun.
You had just named a charity a couple months ago. You decide at the end of each year which charity is going to be benefited by the banquet itself. And this year, the West End Christian Community Center is your beneficiary.
Yeah, and they do a great job in our area, really just down the street from BB&T Ballpark.
Okay.
Their mission is to provide services and programs to help meet the community's social, emotional, and spiritual needs. They serve over 3,000 people annually through all of their programs. They have a soup kitchen. They serve over 13,000 meals a year there. Shoe Express, providing over 500 pairs of new shoes annually to needy kids, and many, many other programs with clothing and jackets and shelter and everything. It's a great organization, and we're proud to have them be the beneficiary of funds from this event this year.
It's really quite a quiet effort. It sounds like they're helping people who just really have needs.
Yeah, absolutely. And we solicit proposals from charities every year, a little bit after the season, to be the chosen charity for a hot stove. We'll raise between $5,000 and $7,000 for the charity through this event. So, we go out and have a good time and raise money for a great cause. So it's been great over the years, raising money for lots of great area charities.
Well, it's really quite a draw this year when you have some great speakers that are going to be at the Hot Stove Banquet coming up actually at the Genetti Hotel January 15th.
Yeah, and tickets are still available. There's always a limited number of seats. It's always a sellout. You can get them at crosscutters.com, but we've got a top-notch lineup again this year. Phillies legend Greg Luzinski.
Now, I recognize that name.
That's right, 70s icon in the Phillies organization. ESPN's baseball analyst Tim Kirchin.
Okay.
He was there last year. Wowed the crowd. Tim's great.
Neat.
And I knew halfway through last year's banquet that we had to have him back again for a second year.
Were they rolling in the aisles?
They were rolling in the aisles. They, not only is he a wealth of information, but he presents it in a very fun and funny way as well. And also our manager, back for a sixth season, Pat Borders, will also be there.
Wonderful.
Former World Series Most Valuable Player and very successful manager of the Williamsport Crosscutters.
When you get a group of people together who love the sport so much, can you even help but have a good time?
It is my favorite night of the year,
Neat.
Rivals opening night, at the ballpark. I love winter sports banquets, and we've been luckily able to make this one just a lot of fun for everybody who comes out.
You have other sponsors, of course. You have the Sun Gazette, some other media outlets, as well as River Valley Transit and Panda Patriot.
Yeah, and we thank them for all their support. They are title sponsors of the event, and then there's many other sponsors as well. And without their support, we would not be able to raise the amount of funds that we do for charity at the event.
Did you do this? This is a 14th annual
14th,
event.
yeah.
What did you do before that for the winter months? Did you have any events and I don't know, what kind of stuff happened?
Not of this type. You know, the way this started, I grew up in a small town in upstate New York, and one of the great things over the winter were the sports banquets that we had. We had a baseball banquet, and we had a football banquet.
Okay.
And, you know, my hometown is about 6,000 people, small town. But we had the best of the best in baseball and football each year. People in football like Terry Bradshaw and Jack Ham and Hall of Famers.
Wow.
This was while they were playing. And that was back in the day when you didn't have to pay those guys, you know, exorbitant funds to come out and speak and sign autographs.
They didn't force the humility.
Exactly. And the events would just be a sellout every year. And the baseball event, you know, also Greg Luzinski was one of the guests at one of ours back in the 70s. The baseball one would have 900 people at it. And it was, you know, just a cool thing. And I always wanted to do it. But the cost of guests in this day and age kind of precluded us from being able to do it. But when we affiliated with the Phillies in 2007, they said, you know, we'll bring our winter caravan here.
Oh, wonderful.
So they would bring players and front office personnel, etc., and, you know, make it so we could have a banquet. And so 14 years ago, we started that with the Phillies doing that.
Okay.
And built it up, and it all went great. So we didn't have to pay for guests.
That's wonderful when you guys all work together.
Absolutely. A few years ago, the Phillies kind of changed the way they do things, and they don't do a banquet except at their AA and AAA levels.
Okay.
So in Reading and in Lehigh Valley and Allentown. So we were faced with the prospect of, you know, gosh, we got to keep this going.
Absolutely.
Because it's gone so well. And, you know, we raised a lot of money, and we said, well, we're going to have to pay guests, and we're going to have to, you know, bring people in and pay them to be here. We kind of figured out the budget and said, okay, let's try and do it. Let's work harder and get a few more sponsors so we have more money to work with. Let's be happy if we can donate just a little bit less to the charity and still be able to have this event. So we did it, and we started that, I think, 3 years ago, and we had Mickey Morandini and Mitch Williams, both of the Phillies. It went fantastic. Last year, we had Tim Kirchin, we had Gary Matthews, former Philly legend, and Dwyer Brown from the movie Field of Dreams.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So it was something a little different, and, you know, it was a standing ovation. It was another great night. And, you know, as luck would have it, we're donating more than we used to donate before, and we didn't have to pay guests. So
sometimes you just got to step off the ledge, Gabe.
That's exactly what we did. We stepped off the ledge, and we didn't fall, and it still was successful. So thank goodness we're still able to do it. The Phillies help us in other ways with it as well, though, donating great auction items. You know, we'll have auctions.
Oh, good.
Silent auctions, live auctions.
Memorabilia, I assume.
Yeah, great memorabilia. So it's a really cool time.
It'll be a great event at the Genetti Hotel, January 15th. And we just have a couple weeks to go. I guess get your tickets now.
Yeah, so limited number of seats definitely available. So 570-326-3389. That's the Cutters hotline. Crosscutters.com. That's available to you 24/7. Just go right in and click on the hot stove ticket link, and you can order them right there. The thing to note that over the holidays we are closed. So we are now closed until January 2nd.
So if we order anything online, that then will process after that date?
We'll process immediately after that date. And phone calls, you know, you can leave messages. We can get back to people, but it won't be until the 2nd. So if you want to make sure that you have tickets, Order it online at crosscutters.com if you're doing it over the holidays.
I think Santa probably puts them in stockings, doesn't he?
Santa does put them in many stockings. Absolutely.
He's one of your
does.
best customers.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Gabe Sinocropi is the Vice President of Marketing and Public Relations for the Williamsport Crosscutters. It is so great to see you during the winter.
Likewise.
I'm so glad you're having a happy holiday. Hopefully it's going to continue prosperity for you and your family and the whole team.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Freddie, and back at you.
Thank you.
So get your tickets to the Williamsport Crosscutters Hot Stove Banquet at the Genetti Hotel January 15th ASAP, because they go fast. The most reliable way, while the offices are closed until January 3rd, is online at crosscutters.com. InTouch is locally produced in our studios at 1685 4 Mile Drive in Williamsport. To get in touch with us regarding questions, comments, or topic ideas, call weekdays between 8 and 5, 570-323-8200. You can also write to us at 1685 4 Mile Drive, Williamsport, PA 17701, attention Freddie Hammer, or email me at fhammer@backyardbroadcasting.com. Thanks for listening to In Touch, a production of Backyard Broadcasting.